How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to go over what's been going on with the scionxb, give you an update. The big news is the car has broken 200,000 miles. Yeah, woo. But wanted to share with you some of the maintenance and some of the plus and minuses of owning this car over the past 5 years. But before I get started, if you do me a huge favor, go and hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Definitely would appreciate it. Do a lot of DIY content on repairs, maintenance, and things to look out for when it comes to this vehicle and other vehicles that I own. So I want to share and pass that knowledge to you. And some little spots along the way, show you some of the cross interchange parts between different platforms that can possibly save you some money. Also, if you could follow our socials, links in the description below, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Really would appreciate it. I post a lot of content there that I do not post here on YouTube. Now, going back to it. So I passed 200,000 miles a few weeks ago. Been some upsides, downsides to this car. I've owned one of these more or less for most of my adult life. I bought my first one at 22, 23 years old. I am 43 years old now. So yeah, almost half my life I've had one of these cars, and most of my adult driving life has been with one version or another of this. So I bought this vehicle with about 150,000 miles on it. Now it's crossed over a little over 200,000, so 50,000 miles. Now, what does that mean? Generally for Toyotas, you do your fluids, your belts, you're good to go. But with a couple small details on what wears out and wear and tear items, which is what I wanted to show and share with you. So let's go ahead and take a look. So speaking in the majority, this car minus the whoopsie damage is overall in really good shape. Paint's fading a little bit. This car is a Nevada car, so the clear coat on the roof, everything's kind of going. It doesn't really gloss up anymore. It's kind of like a dull white. There's a couple of things I'm going to try to see if I could shine up the paint a little bit, but more or less the car's been very, aesthetically it's slowly going. Mechanically it's been great. So one of the things that happens, and it's very random, some people can go 250, 300,000 miles, and for me, unfortunately at 200,000 miles, it's happening, is I believe my alternator's going out. How do I know that? When I drive, the battery light's on, but when I hit a little over 80, the battery light goes away, so that means the brushes in the alternator are going. So that needs to be replaced, so that there will be a DIY video soon. A couple of things you want to take a look at, obviously, is make sure you're on top of all your fluids. I do my oil changes every 5,000 miles, and all the other fluids, gear oil for my manual transmission, coolant, everything every 30,000 miles. Some people do it sooner. That's about what I believe Toyota recommends, and I use all AMSOIL, so we're good there. Brake fluid, everything else I've done at about 180. Coolant, gear oil, brake fluid, did it all at 180, so I'm good till about 210. The color of the brake fluid is getting kind of dark, so yeah, it's almost time. So I'm 2 oil changes away. The belts, I know the lighting here isn't the greatest. They are slowly, I don't know if the camera light can see it. Let's see. Yeah, can't really get it. But the belts are almost due for a change also. I have it hooked up on trickle charger just to charge the battery. Our battery's good to go for me to go run around today. A couple other things that you want to look at when it comes to this car is just take the cover off, check the valve cover seal. Usually there's no problems there, but see if it's leaking any oil. You can kind of see it here. On this car, it is not. It's just really it's just really dirty. And one of the things you also want to look at also is when you take the tire off, check the axles, make sure there's no grease, there's no leaks coming from the axles or the shocks itself, front and rear. I usually do that when I do a tire rotation. And if you're wondering how it looks, it's pretty clear and obvious when you have the car on jack stands, you take the tire off. If the shock is completely drenched in oil, that means your shocks are pretty much done, front and rear. So I would check all four, and then the CV axle, same thing. You see a bunch of grease, you know, coming out of it. It's getting there to where you do need to change it. So, with that said, this car needs new alternator immediately because it's going. The battery should still be good. It's charging up just fine. The problem is the alternator is not charging the system when it's driving. So that's what I do need to fix. Other than that, the car's been super reliable. I run a fuel system treatment cleaner through the car from AMSOIL, a gas treatment that you add into the tank every oil change. And yeah, the car's been super reliable. In terms of the car mechanically, everything's pretty sound, just wear and tear items like I just mentioned. The only thing I've ever done is plugs and fluids. Again, the alternators will be taken care of. The clutch is something that I need to address fairly soon. It's still holding, still grabbing, it doesn't slip. There's a few times coming back and forth from LA, going up the hill, carrying a lot of stuff in the car, a lot heavier than what it should be. The clutch did kind of slip and feel like it wasn't fully doing its job, so it's getting there, and I'm betting this is the original clutch on the car still. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for. In a future video, I will be doing new axles, new lower suspension arms, the bushings. That does wear on these cars also. In terms of the car's interior, everything is good and solid. My only complaint with the interior right now for this car in particular is the driver door panel, the elbow area. It's the plastic for the insert is cracking, so you kind of feel it when you rest your arm on there. I don't normally rest my arm on that spot, but I know the previous owner and my brother did. My brother's a bigger guy, so he leaned on it a lot. You could tell there's a specific spot he always puts his arm when he's driving. So no offense to Magic, but yeah. But yeah, the car itself has been super solid. Been enjoying it. Again, I enjoy it, but at the same time, I do want a new car. But besides the point, so this is a very solid Toyota. It's been treating people real well. I know there's a guy back east that's got over 400,000 miles. Daily drives it, runs great. So overall, this car, if you're looking for something that is solid and gets you through with really good gas mileage, this is the car. I've been averaging 28 to 32 miles a gallon. There was one tank where I only got 26 miles a gallon. Don't know what happened there, but next tank, still driving the same. I'm getting 28 to 32 depending on time of year, so pretty solid. There is one thing I want to do in the future with the car when I do the clutch, is there is a 5th gear Toyota Matrix swap where it changes the final 5th gear where you get longer gear, so you get better gas mileage when you're cruising. So that's something to look forward to in a future video. I don't know when I'm going to do that. It's just whenever the clutch finally goes out, that's when I'll do it. But I'm going to start gathering the parts, so when it's time, I can just swap it in. Also, by the time this video goes up, I will. There is a huge sale up to 89% off, not from M2 Motoring, but from Advanced Auto Parts. I don't know if you knew, they're kind of not going out of business, but they're closing a lot of the retail stores, so they're liquidating a lot of their stuff. A lot of the maintenance items that I am buying for this and a lot of repair things I am getting from Advanced. And let me tell you, I just saved a ton of money. I added up how much I would have spent buying all the stuff that I'm buying. It was about $700 worth of stuff. I got everything for approximately $230. I'll get all the receipts to show you in another video on the haul and score from Advanced Auto, if they were able to fulfill everything. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Anyways, that concludes my quick video on ownership of this car at 200,000 miles. Again, super solid, just basic maintenance and your wear and tear items, and you're good to go. This is what Toyota quality is, and that's why I've been driving Toyotas for, well, aside from this one, even before this car, I was driving Toyotas and never had any big problems. Until next time, you guys take care. Thank you again so much for watching. See you next time.